Oh, hello, everyone. How is it going, guys? How has your week been? Let's give it a couple of minutes and see if anybody else is joining tonight. But thank you so much for making out time to jump on tonight. I've got my brother here. I wasn't expecting. I was just hoping to that someone joins.
Yes,
It's
sir.
going to
How
be
you, how you doing?
so dry. Okay, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I can't
Yeah,
complain,
how are
man.
things?
Yeah,
How
we
are
carry on.
things? Are they settling?
Hey?
Are things settling?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's kind of like settling. Like, give me 1 second.
All right. All right, that's great. While we're waiting for Kendrick to return, and he has returned, I'm just hoping that a few others are going to join. I don't know if anybody else is going to join tonight. This is being streamed to YouTube. Yes, this is the only place we can stream to, or can we stream to elsewhere, like
Just
Facebook? That's where most of the guys hang.
no, it's only yeah, they've changed Facebook now, isn't it? You can't use a third party to stream.
All right.
Yeah,
All right. I see.
yeah.
I
You can
see.
you can you can stream direct
Yeah.
by just jumping on, but not using any third
Any
party.
other platform.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't blame them. We will still crack on. We'll still crack on. Anyway, let's make a start. Last week we had some interesting conversations on the power to grow. And why did I choose this topic? I chose this topic because we go through all these peaks and valleys of I'm about to do it, and then it's not happening. And then we get discouraged and we get stuck and we wonder what needs to happen for us to begin to make that progress that we want to make. And sometimes it's not just about that, it's about feeling very comfortable. There's this popular saying that says, if it's not broken, don't fix it,
Mhm.
which gets most of us locked into what we believe is working at this point in time. But what that does also is it stops us from exploring other opportunities that will help us to work towards a greater capability, a greater impact, and a greater result in our lives and in the lives of the people that we've called to impact their lives. So that's why I thought it's a very timely one. And obviously, most of us are going through these sort of situations as well, where we really need to grow, but we don't know what to do to grow. As usual, it's uh, 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 a collaborative type of conversation rather than a teaching session, because I can't call myself a professional in this area. So to deal with that, last week we talked about a few. We talked about a couple, not a few. One is security. I've mentioned how the security of where we are keeps us where we want to be. But then the truth is, in most cases, we get that rude awakening because suddenly we lose our job, or we lose a business, or we lose a connection that has been making things happen for us, and we now go into that crisis mode, which means that we have to start looking for the drawing board, not going back to the drawing board. We have to even start looking for the drawing board, because initially we thought we've worked it out, everything is fine, there's no need for the drawing board again, so we chuck it in the bin, and this is what's working, is working like clockwork. Why bother about it? And then when this goes wrong, we now start looking for the drawing board again. So that's one of the reasons. What the idea that I was sharing last week is that we look at this and say to ourselves, the security that we think that we're enjoying now, is it real security? Is there really real security in anything? Because I know, Kendrick, you talked a lot about growth mindset in some of your presentations. If we're going to have the mindset of we are sufficient where we are and we are not trying to grow, then the only thing that will be happening is that we start going down. It's not very evident initially, but as life goes on, what happens is we all know that if something is not growing, it's dying. So it's not something that we need to maybe get ourselves or convince ourselves before it's true. That's the truth of life. If it's not growing, it's dying. So if we look at life, take that approach and look at growth in that way, then it becomes something that we have to think about every day as we move on with our lives. And then we talked about vision. It's not sufficient for us to stay where we are, or it's sufficient for us to pursue something. Because if we don't know where we're going, if we don't have a vision of the final state or of where we would want to be at a certain stage, then it's very hard for us to know what we need to do or what we can do or what we can't do. Because sometimes you find that the vision that we set for ourselves helps us to make decisions, makes it very easy for us to make decisions because you know where you're going. You know, someone wants to go to space and I only want to go to the US. So we get into a conversation and he starts talking about going to space. No, I'm not, involved in that. It's not attractive to me. So what do? I switch. I go to somewhere else that's talking about how to go to the US because that's where I want to go. If I want to go to Africa, the same thing. I can't start talking to someone who wants to go to India, not because India is bad or because going to space is bad, but because it's outside my vision. And that's how it works. So if we create a clear vision, it does not just lead us to where we need to go. It helps us to decide the day-to-day actions that we need to be taking. And as we are looking at it, because vision is not something you just come up with and you just keep it there. There is that advice that we need to continue to review our vision, to look at it, make sure it makes sense, it's aligned with what our thinking is for each day. Because if the knowledge we have yesterday is still the same knowledge that we have today, then we are running a risk of getting things wrong. But as our knowledge improves, our vision is supposed to be improved based on regular review of that vision, because that can then change things. I want to buy a Rolls Royce, and based on what I knew yesterday, based on what I knew last year, but based on what I know now, why did I want to buy a Rolls Royce? Does it make sense? Even if I have money, is that really good use of money now? And even if it's, I come into millions and millions and millions, is it really worth spending that type of money? Going to get a Rolls Royce. So that's what the review of that vision does for us. As we do things that allows us to grow, we fine-tune our vision. And as we fine-tune our visions, we are going to remove some things and put in some things, and we're going to be focused more on the direction that we want to go to. So today, I want to touch on a few within the time that we allowed. We have 20 minutes and we can talk about it and get the opportunity to learn more. I think Michael was here last week, learned quite a lot from him, from our discussions. So the next one I wanted to talk about is knowledge. I mentioned earlier that if what we know now is what we knew yesterday, then we are not going anywhere. There is not going to be any progress, because what actually brings progress is knowledge. You know something, then you do it, even if it's on something that you already know, but your ability to learn a little bit more, even if it just means polishing up that skill. The way you did it last year is going to be different to the way you do it this year. And that makes a huge, huge, huge difference. But if we're going to just be complacent and just say, and just say, you know what? I know how to do this. I'm the guru for this. So I'm just going to sleep all day and all night. I'll come up tomorrow and I'll do the same thing and nobody can beat me. Trust me, the beautiful ones are not yet born. I think it's a brilliant book written by an African that's called that. The ideas that you think you have that's going to change the world, there are brand new ones coming in every day. There are competitors who are thinking deeper, working every day and night, and assuming the position that we occupy right now as just a starting point. So if we're not going to commit to that and we're thinking of growing, then it's a pipe dream. That's all we can call it. So having said that, given that introduction, Kendrick, I don't know if you have anything to add to that one, the importance of knowledge when it comes to empowering us for growth. I think you're on mute.
Wow. Yeah, no, that one. It's really an important topic, isn't it? Because as you guys know, for us coming on here, we are after growth. And when Chida was saying, "Oh, I'm going to bring the topic of growth next." Last week he mentioned that's like, wow, yeah, let's go for it. And because when you really look at it, growth is not something that we kind of like do. We don't just grow as in because as a good idea. It's somebody has encouraged you to do so. That's who we are. It's in our DNA. It's embedded in our being. Because we live in a world, we live in a space where everything evolves. It's about getting better. It's always about improving and not being the same. And just the fact that obviously Chido is mentioning that we are looking at it from a perspective of knowledge. I think knowledge is basically the foundation, to be honest, because if you look at it, if I want to go from A to B in terms of a destination, starting here to there, I need to first know. I have to have the knowledge and where I am. Even just look at it in its simplicity. Because otherwise, I will not be able to recognize where I want to end up, because I don't even know where I am right now. So I do believe that knowledge is just for me, even to think about where to go on a growth journey. I have to consider knowledge in general, not only knowledge in where I want to go, what it is that I need to do, or general or knowledge in general, but just from the point go, I need to know. All right, this is where I am, and this is what I'm after. So yeah, this is going to be good, sir. So knowledge is really it's a powerful place to be in terms of when it comes to tap into our journey of growth. So yeah.
Absolutely, we'll continue to dig deeper into that one, because that's the power that we require to grow. If there is no knowledge, then whatever we do, if we've set up our homes and we come back and we think, the missus asked me to get those stickers, the stickers that you need to use to get the carpet stuck to the floor, and I was doing it today, and so I found that I needed to hoover to make sure that underneath it's clear before I put it, because it's semi-permanent what I'm putting in there. And just by looking at it, I now realized, do I really like this color for this room? I don't think this color works. That's new knowledge. Where did it come from? From all the things, the Airbnb stuff that I've been doing. I'm now looking at things differently. I'm looking, that's something that's been there for over 2 years now, but I haven't looked at it that way. But I've acquired more knowledge, some form of knowledge that I then brought in to this place that I've been sitting for this while. And I'm thinking, does this really work here? This is quite dull in this space. I think we need to change it. And my wife said, actually, yeah, it doesn't work. And so on. But then initially I would just step back and look at it and say, yeah, that's the color the designer gave us. This is really good. So let's just put it in there. And that's what knowledge does. Think, how can this then change the way we approach our projects, the way we approach our business, the way we approach our lives, the way we approach our relationships? Because these things are projects. They are things that we do. If we're going to use the same knowledge that we've always had, for example, how we treat our partners, how we treat our children, brothers, sisters, everywhere they are, parents, and that's the only way to go about it, then it becomes obsolete. Marriages break down because we're doing the same thing, and that's the only way. But if we continue to acquire new knowledge, by the time our partners realize that there's a problem with this approach, we've switched, and we are showing that we are not just static. We can change based on new knowledge. And when you do business with people as well, it's also the same thing. Most people do not want to do business with you if all your idea is what they already know. They want you to bring something fresh, because they know that when you bring something fresh, there are new opportunities that will be created.
Right.
There are new mountains that can be climbed easier than they used to climb it before. All right. So there is knowledge, but there's another one I want to put in there. I was looking at my note, by the way, so that I don't think I'm talking of that. So the other one I want to talk about is creativity, and under that I put in resourcefulness. When we want to grow, sometimes there is a certain way that we know that growth happens. And the other twist I want to put into this is the twist of faith as well. Now, there are humanly recognized steps that things needs to take to happen. But that's based on old knowledge. If we're going to bring something that's new, which is what growth is all about, if we're going to grow in our ability to execute, we need to become more creative. We need to become more resourceful with the resources we currently have to produce different results from the results that we've always had. Very, very important. And creativity involves the recombination of current skills and expertise to produce different results. How do we do this? How does this apply to our businesses? If we're going to sit down there, a business that was running on Amazon failed because I thought I'd mastered that business approach. So what I was doing is to try and put more fire to fire up the current business model. But off the back of that, things were changing. The people who were also running the business were adopting different approaches, but which I was very slow to adopt. So by the time I realized what was happening, my formula had been made obsolete. And that's how the business crashed. So it's not just about having the skills, having the knowledge. It's about how do we recombine them.
Yeah.
Is the one that we need to underline, because the results that we produce is produced by combining the knowledge and the skills we have and the expertise we have. But when we want to become creative or resourceful, there's got to be that element of recombination of those same skills to produce more results.
Yeah.
Very, very important. And that's what produces that growth that we look for. Because if I'm running a business and you are my customer, and every day you come, the results I produce for you, even though they are excellent, and they're giving you 100% returns, for example.
Yeah.
At some stage, you're going to get bored of 100% returns and say, 100% returns. That means if I put in £1,000, I get 2,000. But how long are we going to stay here? Can we not go to at least 150%? Can we not even see 110? Meanwhile, 100% is sufficient. That's a massive uplift from your investment. But when you're working with people, they want to see growth. I listened to one of the videos by Tony Robbins, and what the thing he was talking about there is that growth. He was talking about success, that people do not feel success if they are getting the same results. So if your results are the same every day, even though it's an excellent result, there is no fulfillment that comes from it. You get excited, I managed to blow this thing up. I've gone from 1 million to 2 million, but then you're stuck at 2 million. After 6 months, 1 year, or 2 years, you're going to say to yourself, 2 million, if I could do that within 6 months in the first year, how come I'm in the third year and I'm struggling to even move to 2.2 million? frustration will kick in. And that's what you see happening in so many people who we step back and we look at them as successful. Why do we look at them as successful? We're judging their success based on the distance between where we are and where they are.
Yeah.
But that's not the real judgment of success. Real success is judged by where I was yesterday and where I am today.
Yeah. Yeah.
When people do not see that in their lives, they feel that stagnance, and that frustration will kick in. Because everybody wakes up, even the president of the United States of America, even Elon Musk is looking to go from here to here. But if it's a very, very bad situation, he wants to go from here to at least here. That's progress. He doesn't want to stay there every year, stay there, because some other people are coming. Some other ideas are coming. Not because he needs the money, but because he wants to grow. That's human nature. So if we are not going to make sure that we are involving that recombination of our skills that allows us to grow, then we have lost that power. We've lost that power to grow. I'll hand over to you, bro, to look at this and give us your view so I can learn as well.
Yeah. Oh man, I love the way how you combine knowledge and our creativity, our ability to create and come up with new solutions, new ideas, because innovation and expansion will require new knowledge, isn't it? That's how the one is. It's not possible without the other one.
Yes.
And that is obviously it's crucial to our growth. And the more we dive into kind of like new territory, kind of like face things that we feel like we are out of our depth, like we have no idea how, just understanding of new processes and systems and practices and all of these kind of things, of things that you usually try to avoid. But if you kind of like tap into certain things, it will expand. It will cause you to think a little bit, just think a little and use and will push us towards using our brain and that creativity that has been dormant maybe for years. Because I think in general, as human beings, we are sometimes we can be lazy to think. But if we sometimes just make the effort just to use our brains a little bit better, and sometimes you don't even need a new idea.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's taking what's already in front of you and just putting a twist on it, and suddenly, people have made millions upon millions on taking an idea that's already there. Excuse me, and just put a spin on it, their creativity. Because remember, now we are creators. We are made in the image of God, and what is God's greatest place of action is not healing, it's not providing, is to create. He does things that no man can even sometimes comprehend. So for us, we need to make sure that we tap into that, and we have to first see ourselves as somebody that can come up with ideas that that is out of the ordinary. We don't have to go with the norm, and I think that's kind of like the challenge. And the reason why we stifle our creativity, because we can't adapt to change. Instead of becoming creative, we're fighting change, because growth often requires us to adapt to change, to a new environment, to new technologies, or shifts in societies, or just just things in general that concerns people and processes and all of these kind of things. But because it's uncomfortable, we rather pull away or become resistant to the change, and that means we can't even apply our creativity. And the thing with creativity is, it's like a muscle, isn't it? If you don't use it, it kind of like just fades away. I mean, something that is simple, you can't even solve that because you've never really taken the effort to just sit down and think about it. How can I do this specific thing? How can I do it in a different way? So it's really, really powerful. And I think when you combine your hunger for acquiring knowledge and are curious to know why things are the way they are, and you know, asking questions, because sometimes the thing that is important is not so much the answers, but is the type of questions that we ask, because questions provokes certain answers, isn't it? Because it causes us to kind of like gravitate into a specific direction, like, oh yeah, I've never actually thought about that. Why is it like you know, why? You know, it's important to ask that question. And I think that will kind of like, and if we don't fight it, and if we don't cause that war to come up, we'll be the most creative people. You know, you will be the most creative person within your circle that you hang around, and you will be sought after. You will be sought after.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for pulling it all together, creativity and knowledge, showing how those two go together and result in innovation that attracts interest from the usual sources that we would want to see interest from, because that's whatever we do, we don't do it for ourselves. When we grow, we have better influence, we have better impact, and we are able to reach more people and do bigger things and have that satisfaction that comes from knowing that we are really, really applying ourselves. All right, I'll talk of the last one, and then that will be it for tonight. So the final one I wanted to talk about, apart from ensuring that we don't allow failure to hold us down, is collaboration. Collaboration. There's a saying where I come from that a snake seen by one person is a python. Pythons are normally bigger, and a tiny snake, when it's seen by one person, the whole idea is it's bigger than it is normally. You know, you begin to see it as something else. But is it really something else? No, it's not. It's the same thing. And that's the way we look at collaboration, where if I'm looking at it, it looks impossible. We have had so many issues, so many ideas that we've come in here, we'll share in the backspace, and we come up with solutions. We get ideas from each other. Someone else says, oh, I can do this, or why don't you think about this? Have you thought about this? Or you need to reach out to this person. They will help you to sort this thing out, and so on and so forth. But if we want to do it on our own, then in most cases we'll fail. So if we're looking to grow, even the Bible talks about 1 chasing 1,000 and 2 chasing 10,000. Just think, take your cue from that. It just brings that multiplier effect when we collaborate. In fact, in the area of in management now, it's a very hot topic, collaboration, because organizations cannot afford the same the expert skills that each other has. So in most cases, they try and bring together different skills from different organizations to create something that they wouldn't have been able to create on their own. And you know, one of the popular examples which I saw and it blew my mind is, you know, that the Aygo and the C1 Citroen and the Peugeot 206, it's a collaboration between those companies. Did you know that? The engine, the parts, everything is the same. The only difference is the exterior design.
Wow.
That's all it is. So if you're Citroen C1, if you have a problem with Citroen C1, you can get a part from Peugeot 206 to fix it. Did you know that? No, that's a result of collaboration.
Look at that.
You know, so they walked away from that combination of skills, from that collaboration effort, which brought in the experts from Citroen, from Peugeot. I think they are the same company now, and Toyota. So they brought in all that. If you allow Toyota to say we want you to have all the expertise, it will cost them more money. So why don't we pull our resources together and create that team that's now a star team that creates something that we can all walk away and we go and exploit it and use it to create wealth, create value for our individual organizations. So the same thing applies to us as individuals, us as businessmen. How far do you want to go? How far do I want to go? That's what's going to make the difference. Our ability to reach out to others and collaborate, support, help, and that way we get the same back. And the more we combine those efforts, what will happen is our results will be 100%, at least 100% better than what we can achieve on our own if we went on our own. So I'll let you talk to that, and then we'll wrap it up and go to the back room. I know we are now on 8:30 something.
Second. Oh man, collaboration, man, you hit it right on the head there, eh? Because if you really think about it, anything great, anything amazing is not accomplished by one person. It's not accomplished because somebody has all the resources, somebody has all the knowledge, or somebody has all the ability to make it happen. And I think if you and I can just change our way of thinking and knowing that, listen here, if I am secure in myself, if I'm confident in what I can bring to the table, and then take what I have and combine it with somebody else's gift, combine it with, and I think that's where self-confidence comes in, because you've got to be secure and knowing, listen here, I know that I'm not good in this area.
Yeah.
I know that Chido is good in this specific area. And then I can boldly just say, all right, guys, let's do this together, because this is what I can bring. Chido said, all right, this is what I can bring. Somebody else said, this is what I can bring. And you can start something amazing. And you can just continue. And whoever wants to come along, you just pull them in and say, all right, yeah, let's do this. And I think when you have that kind of a mindset, this is the result. Nothing will be impossible. Nothing, because I had a conversation last week with somebody, and one of the things that came up was, if you have to bring new resources into this organization, how will you do it? Instantly, the answer that came up was, people are the resources, are not stuff. Resources are inside people. So which means if you are good with people, if you are good with managing relationships, if you are good at knowing how to collaborate, knowing how to pull people together, knowing how to get out of the way if you are in the way, so that people that know how to do what needs to be done, then anything can be done. There's no limit, because as long as, that's why we should be so careful how we treat people, how we speak to people, because you don't know, your problem might be in somebody else. The solution to your problem, the solution to my problem is might be with the person that you thought you went to a networking meeting, you thought you just spoke to somebody at the shops, just by coincidence. No. There's nothing in life happens by coincidence. You must always know that there's this person that you are speaking with, there's something that they know that you don't know. There's somebody that they know that you don't know. So that's brilliance of the collaboration. There's no success without collaboration.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a really good point to invite you then to come to the back room so we can collaborate and see how we can help each other. And this is speaking to the guys who are listening online as well, to say, feel free to join us. It's very important. The solution that we are looking for might be in your hands. It might be in your hands, and you're stopping us from getting it. So as soon as you get the chance, please jump in the back room so that we can get things going. I hope this has helped, and that's a wrap on Power to Grow. It's been fun doing this, and I'm hoping that we've all gotten something from it. I have got a lot. I've learned a lot from these conversations that we've had. And I want to thank everyone who has contributed. Michael, Kendrick, thank you so much. We'll now go to the back room to look at what we're doing and look at the progress we're making. We're just 90 days to the 100,000. I think Mone has just joined at the stage. Hi, Mone, how are you?
Hi, good evening, guys.
Yeah, okay. You joined at a good time. So we're wrapping up now, going to the back room. Thank you so much for joining.
Oh, okay.
Good to see
Yeah,
you.
to make it now, guys.
Yeah. Good thing this is recorded, so you can always look at it, so that we don't keep everybody and annoy the missuses. We don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. All right, let's quickly go to the back room and get this thing done so we can start growing. Thank you so much. Cheers.
Hey, guys.